So join your hands together in front of your heart and close your eyes. And the focus of this 55-minute power yoga practice is on arm balances and just the different variety of arm balances and the different entries that can go into arm balances. Some I'm great at, some that I struggle with, but the opportunity there is to learn. Take a deep breath in. Open your mouth, exhale it out. And just one more, full breath in. And then full breath out. And then please begin in downward facing dog position. Hi, Mallory. Here in downward facing dog, bend your knees slightly, push your hands actively forward, tilt your sit bones high into the air. What differentiates power yoga compared to flow yoga is just the opportunity to hold poses a little bit longer, and then maybe a slight emphasis on upper body strength. So in particular, arm balances and building core work, where flow you might move a bit more gracefully from pose to pose and do more poses, but not hold quite as long. So inhale, come forward, plank pose, everyone's favorite of the power yoga positions. One week I'm going to teach a class where it's just going to be 55 minutes of plank position on your hands or your elbows, whichever one you choose. And then we'll just see how we go. It might help to prop something under your hips if you're going to go for that. On your next exhale, push back, downward facing dog, getting right into it for some fun. Cat burglar hops. This is a little bit more of a bowspring move where you just hop forward and back on your mat. Forward, back, Just a great way to get the heart rate going and to move the body. Eventually hop all the way forward. Separate your feet hip distance apart. Bend your knees and round in. Then inhale, lengthen your spine, lift up halfway. And exhale, fold. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, lift and lengthen. And then exhale and bow. And last time, reach and extend out. You can keep the fingers on the floor. I just go hands to the shins because it's a morning. I've got my morning practice, which is not as strong as my evening practice. Just I'm a little stiffer. Exhale, bow in, and then place your hands to your hips. Inhale, slowly rise all the way up. Your choice, feet together, feet hip distance apart. It doesn't matter. Float your arms on an inhale, reach up. We'll do a couple of variations of sun salutations, and then exhale, dive forward, touch the floor. Halfway lift, lengthen, and then exhale, step your right foot back behind you. Lower your knee to the floor. And then float your arms up into the air. Instead of rushing into plank pose, just move your hips forward and back a little bit, just warming up the body. When your back knee is down, you can move the front knee forward past the ankle, just to enhance the stretch for your back leg. And then on your exhale, plant your hands, step back, plank pose. Your choice with plank, of course, is knees down. I'm all about making things more accessible, focus on good form and build the strength that way. So on an exhale, lower down halfway, pause and hold. And then lower your hips, point your toes, lift up for a cobra position, move your shoulders back, and then push it back to downward facing dog. Deep breath in, and deep breath out. It's a short class, so there's only so long that we can stay in down dog. So step your right foot forward, lower your knee down, and then float your arms up into the air. If you have a variation of your arms that you like, cup your head, go into cactus blades. You can do some breakdancing moves like that. It's a whole other skill to be able to do that. And the yoga pose at the same time might be a good warrior 2 movement. And then one more breath in and touch your hands down and step forward, standing forward fold. Halfway lift, lengthen your spine. Exhale and fold in. Reverse swan dive, come all the way up. Reach up, even lean back slightly. And then exhale and dive forward. Halfway lift, lengthen. This time step your left foot back first. Option to have your back knee lifted, and then float your arms up into the air. Push your arms straight, lift your chin, look forward, settle lower into your front leg. Of course, you're always welcome to modify and just drop your back knee down. Reach up high, and then plant your hands. Step back, plank pose, pause at the top. Again, knees up or down, yogi's choice. And then lower down, halfway, pause, hold, 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 hold. And then lift for your back bend. It might be lifting your pelvis for upward facing dog instead. I just prefer cobra in my body. It feels a lot better. Push back, downward facing dog. Deep breath in, deep breath out. And on your inhale, step your foot forward and rise up, hands to hips. Just to square your hips. Find the alignment of the pose. Just like a musical instrument, you have to tune it first before you can make quality sound. I've been learning, I've got my harmonium, but I've been learning piano, I've been learning ukulele and guitar. I'm going to be my own single band, one man band, one Boyd band. One Boyd band. Okay, getting names already. Float your arms up. If you have any name suggestions, just type them in the comment field. Boyd band. Lone Boyd band. Okay, then touch your hands down. Bow over your legs. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale and fold in. Then bend your knees and float up into chair pose. So I promised arm balances. I'm not a big believer of waiting forever to do arm balances. We kind of did a bit with the cat burglar hops, but either stay in chair if you love chair, or go low for crow pose. So that's where you bend your elbows, put your shins to your upper arms, lean forward into your hands, lift one foot, and then the other foot. Rising up, pausing and holding here. Lift the chin. Definitely got some strong practitioners here. If you want to tuck your chin, bring your head down to then lift into tripod headstand. I made the mistake of not tucking in my shirt first, so I'm not going to go any further than that. This video becomes more than just G-rated if that's the case. And then you could try to go from headstand back into crow pose. Yeah, Boyd to man. Boyd to man would be pretty funny. I like that. Okay, and then back to downward facing dog. On an inhale, lift your right leg back behind you. This time, stack your right hip over your left hip. Lift the knee high. And then step your foot forward between your hands. Turn your left foot to the left. And then left hand to your hip for side angle position. Because it's a power yoga class, if you'd prefer to go for a bind, you're welcome to right away. The assumption usually is folks who are choosing to do power yoga have a bit of experience. If you've never had much experience with yoga, just go forearm to your thigh, float your arm forward. More experience, go for the bind. Settle in low, stay strong and active with your legs. And then interestingly enough, we're going to go for another arm balance right from here. So touch your hands down to the inside of your left foot. Backstreet Boyd, yeah, that's a good one too. Lift your back heel, and then now slide your right arm underneath your right leg. Lift your right foot, bend your knee, and then sink down low with your elbows. Then lift your back foot up away from the floor. That's a version of Koundinyasana 2 with just the front leg at a bent knee position. Eventually move your way back, downward facing dog. And then once you arrive, breathe deeply. And with your next inhale, lift your left leg back behind you. I often use the words with your inhale or on your exhale, just so that you don't move at the exact same time as me. Bend. I do my things my way. Don't follow me. Lift your left leg up. No, what I mean there is everyone breathes at a different rate. So I've been in classes where people just teach breathing way too fast. I'm slow. It's like going back into grade 5 math again. It's like, whoa. Long division? Hello? What? I can't use my calculator? Step your foot forward. Side angle position. You can go right hand to the hip, hand to the inside if you want to go for a bind, or hand to the outside of the foot. Or the classic true blue position of the pose is hand outside the foot and then reaching long like I'm doing here, but lots of variations, especially with Instagram. Instagram like opened a whole new world for yoga, gave a lot more people the opportunity to broaden, I think, exposure. Back in the old days of yoga, you had to find your mentor teacher and train with them and travel. And then now we've got the internet because we're not traveling for a long time. Okay, and then turn to the floor. Bring both hands down to the inside. I wiggle my foot off and then I get the left hand underneath and then right hand down. Lift the back heel and watch here. So I lift the front foot. Leg goes out to the side with the elbow bent. You can even use your right elbow to prop up your hip if you need a bit more support. And you can use the right side of your face on the floor as well. This is a good one to test to see how clean your floors are. And then make your way back. Downward facing dog. Okay, now step your right foot forward. Turn your left foot to the left, and then left hand to your hip. Push your front leg straighter for triangle pose. Use a block as needed. Go high, medium, low, no. Hold your big toe. Just find a great triangle. A bit more advanced is the bound triangle. Oh, that's more of a stretch than I need at this moment in time, so I'm happy just with regular triangle, arm up in the air, or keep your hand down. And then just flowing a little bit more with this one. So push off of your back foot. See if you can lift right up into half moon pose. Option to even bend your knee. Grab your foot for drinking sugarcane in the moonlight pose. Kick your foot back. Lift your chin. And then now square your hips, bring both hands down, tuck your chin in, bring your knee into your nose, and then extend your leg back. Again, 2 more times like that. And then last one. And then option for an arm balance here. If you're just prepping, it's going to be hands down, lift your right heel, bend your right knee, and put your shin to your upper arm. And that's the position there. Just look like this. It's kind of like crow, but without lifting your foot, but then extending your left leg back, and you can pull the knee in, extend out. Great for the core. More challenging, helps to have your feet down first, lift your front foot, and then lift your back foot, and then extend back. And it's much more difficult. It's called one-legged crow, so you don't get as low down that you do in Koundinyasana 2 that we did. And yeah, nobody really likes this one. Extra options is you can pump the knee in and out. It probably requires the most core strength possible. And then move back to downward facing dog when you're ready. Option to move through a flow. Go as fast or as slow as you want. And then push it back. Downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Dramatic sigh out. Do you think that this might be the year that one of us could win an Academy Award if we create our own movie and it becomes like really popular? I think this is our opportunity. So getting really dramatic with your sighs. Step your left foot forward. Turn your right foot to the right. Right hand to your hip. Push your front leg straighter. Again, option. I just like having blocks. Even when I'm just home by myself, I just start to stack these blocks and have myself entertained throughout the whole day. Yeah, it'd be pretty funny. It's like, and the winner for Best Picture for the Academy Award goes to Jonathan Boyd for his Power Yoga Arm Balances feature. classic option, arm up in the air. And then setting yourself up for half moon pose. Push off of your back foot, lift it into the air. Option to do a little bit of a thigh stretch as well. Grab hold of your foot, kick your foot back, lift your chin. And doing this one-legged crow pretty early, just because it requires so much strength. So then turn to the floor, hand down, bring your right knee in, and kick your leg back. Right knee in, kick your leg back, and then right knee in, kick your leg back. So one option is just to pause here, go into the crow position with your left leg without lifting your foot, and then pull the right knee in and out. Another option, you could even use a block on your back leg and feel what it's like to lift your front leg like that. Or a bit more challenging is lift your front foot first, lean forward to then lift your leg up. And there are options even to go into this from headstand. I'll make the appropriate maneuver, tuck in my shirt first. So what that would look like would be to go headstand, lift only one leg up. Have to be super controlled with this one. Bring your leg down and then lift your head. Woo, 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 woo. Not a 1 minute hold. That's about a 5 seconds. You got it. Take the photo. Take the photo. Take the photo. Okay, and then back to downward facing dog. Deep breath in and deep breath out. Look forward between your hands. Bend your knees and then step or hop forward to the front. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale and fold in. Place your hands to your hips. Inhale, slowly rise all the way up. And then balance on your right foot. Grab hold of your left big toe or the outside of your foot with your hand. Don't worry, this one won't be 10 minutes long. Hello. And then lift up tall. If you want a bit extra challenge, you can always bend your standing leg. And then lift your shin parallel to the floor. Counterbalance with your arm out to the side. Option to then kick your leg straighter. Those who are pretty flexible can go almost vertical with the leg. You can always do a bow variation where you rotate the leg in, bend, and then kick your leg that way. That one actually feels the best for me. Woo. Okay, and then lower your foot and switch to the other side. So grab hold of the big toe or the outside of the foot. Stand tall. The advantage of bending your knee is you stay a bit more engaged with the muscles in your leg. And then lift your shin parallel to the floor. Pull your foot in and kick your foot forward. And it's hard to say parallel to the floor because I don't know, you might be practicing this on a hill and therefore the hill isn't parallel. And then I usually have to hold the big toe if I want to kick the leg straighter just to give a little bit more length. Or again, the bow version, just that way. Feels a little bit better in my back. So the one I'd probably choose most of the time. Okay, and then lower your foot down. Just got the double mat, switch mats. Bend your knees, sitting into a square or chair position. And I like to go wide-legged if I'm going into just a chair twist. So it'll be left hand to outside of right knee, right hand to the low back or hip, and then get down low. And it's just nice to twist, not so deep. So either stay here, or this is a great entry point for side crow. If you're going for side crow though, it helps to have the feet together and to hook the elbow. Try to have your right elbow free, and then bring your hands down. Got to get the hips up high, and then watch, I'll move my feet to the outside of my hand here, and then bend your elbows, and then lift your feet up. It's as simple as that. So easy. If you're in just twisted chair, just twist away any anxieties or worries, and then slowly make your way back up into chair position, and then switch to the other side. So hold the left knee with the right hand, twist the left hand to your low back, stay, or legs together, try to hook the elbow. There is a variation where you bring both elbows, one to hip and one to knee. The problem is you twist and you kind of look like this if you were to stand up normally. The advantage of just hooking one elbow is the heart remains more open. Lean over to the left hand, get low. Head has to go pretty low to the floor to lift your feet up, and then you hold. Great for breakdance moves, great for breakdance routines. Got plenty of time to work on your routine this year. Eventually, just rise up to a regular standing position, and then cup the back of your head with your hands. Point your elbows forward, bend your knees, move your hips back, and then lift your rib cage up, lean back into a little bit of a back bend. Then keep the action of pushing your head back as you move and tilt your torso forward at about a 45-degree angle. So somewhere between vertical and horizontal. Push your head into your hands, lift your chin, and then see if you can go parallel to the floor. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, and then touch your hands down. Step your right foot back and lower your knee to the floor. Rise up, bring your hands together, and then twist to your left, hook your elbow, join your hands together, pause and hold here. So just like the twisted chair, this is actually an entry point. Instead of side crow, you can then have the legs go out in opposition to each other. And it's called Eka Pada Koundinyasana 1. We did a second variation at the very beginning. So how this works is, again, you could use your one elbow on your hip. That's kind of an extra help option. So try to keep your elbow free and just hook up the one thigh with your elbow, but hands down, and then lean over, and then try to lift your legs up and split them apart like that. So easy, so simple. You can always just stay in a twist and be like, I like twisting. Twisting's so great. To switch to the second side, we'll go through some of my favorite balances. So the one Shin Balances. Reach your arms forward, lift your front heel, then lift your front foot. Pause and hold. Option to hold on to your big toe as we did standing and extend your leg out to the side. If you can get your leg almost vertical, you get extra points. Nothing wrong with being near a wall. I'm near a wall, I can just use the wall to get the extra balance, to kick to the full capacity and then go back to the balance. And then swing your leg back, model airplane. So it's a shorter version of airplane pose. Hi, Gabe. And then lower your knee and step your foot forward, right foot forward. Remember when we used to be able to do yoga in a regular class? Okay, just changing the angle so you can see me twist to the right and then pause and hold there. I like to make this fist with the lower hand and wrap the other hand over top. It's just stronger. Working on my tan so it shows a little bit more. So the extra help is putting in this case it's my right elbow to right hip and then leaning, and then it's more about just counterbalancing. There's less strength. I could probably hold that one for quite a while, but try to go with the elbow free and then lean over to the side and spread your legs wide. Okay, well done. And then lower onto your knees, hands and knees position. Okay, on this one, flip one hand so that you're on the back of your hand with your fingers pointing towards your toes. And then option to go both hands at the same time. I just like to go one at a time. Who wasn't impressed? Got a comment, someone wasn't impressed. Okay, switch if you're just doing one hand at a time. You can always curl your fingers up. Some folks go into plank pose like this. And if Lori's still on the line, she's got the capacity to do chaturanga with her hands like this. That's not in the realm of possibility for me. So now this time, just change. Turn your hands externally so that you start to point your fingers back towards your knees that way. And you might even have to walk in a little bit to do that, turning the hands. And they might not point all the way straight back. Depending upon gender type, you might have to go a little wider with your hands. Some can get hands together and even elbows together. And then in this position, move your hips back, move your shoulders back. And then extra option is to lift one leg back behind you. Only when you drink wine, Lori. Well, it's 10:30 a.m. now, so it's almost happy hour quarantine time. Lower your knee and then switch to the other leg. And then lower your knee down. Just sit on your heels momentarily. Just give the hands a bit of a break. Bring your thumbs to the inside of your palms and wrap your fingers over top of your thumbs. Then bend your elbows, move your knuckles forward, drop your lower lip on one side a little lower, and add some whimpering and some movement. Just getting a bit. Yeah, maybe we'll have a 10 o'clock yoga sesh one time, Mallory, where it'll be wine and yoga. Okay, this next one I don't really like. It's called Mayurasana, Peacock pose. Some are great at it. I've looked up explanations for it, and it says it's great for digestion. I find it just hurts me. So it's going into an arm balance like this. And I don't actually really feel that great in it. So I sometimes just focus on the lifting the head side of it or lifting the leg side. But the full version is lifting both. For those of you who can do lotus with your legs, it's actually easier if you can do lotus. But it's the same setup that we just did, like this. And then I need to move the knees in a bit, bend the elbows, and then bring the head down. And then from there, step back, step back. So it could be lift a leg up, or lift the other leg up, or lift your head up, or get to a point where you can lift everything up. Oh, oh. That one's pretty intense. Causes a lot of pressure in the belly and also on the wrists, so just modify as needed. But it's just nice to try things. I don't often teach it because, as I said, I don't really love it for my body. And then we'll take a little bit of a breather just by sitting down. And then sitting down, lift your feet and hold the backs of your thighs for boat pose. Wasn't really actually going to be a breather. And then option to go without any support. Now extend your right leg just to hover. And then lower down, kiss your shoulder blades to the floor and come back up. Do that 2 more times, lower and come back up. And then lower and come back up. Before the second side, take your left arm underneath your left leg. Bring your hand down, not Astavakrasana, so this one's called elephant trunk pose, Eka Hasta Bhujasana. Keep your right leg lifted, lean forward. Put your hands down, lift your hips and your leg up. Ooh. And then release. Bend your right knee in, left leg straight. And then lower down, kiss the shoulder blades, come back up. Lower down, kiss the shoulder blades, come back up. And one last time, down and up. And then as before, pull your foot back. Slide your right arm underneath. Sometimes I hear get it over your shoulder. Those who can literally get your leg over your shoulder, it might actually limit you from going further in the pose. But if you want to put your leg over your head, go for it. Hands down, lift your hips, lift your leg, hover, hover, hold, hold, hold. and then hips down, legs out in front of you. And then sit up tall as you can. You may have to bend the knees just a little bit for some extra support here. And then lift one foot, lower it. Lift your other foot, lower it. And continue this up and down, up and down. A bit more intense, make fists with your hands, lift your hips as you do it. Most intense is to hover completely and just float with your legs going up and down. I've been able to do that for about 2 to 3 seconds. And then my hip flexors, my psoas muscles, told me about it for about 7 days afterwards. So too much is too much, which I've also learned that with chocolate cake as well. Okay, now I'm gonna just rotate a little bit, keep changing mats, very indecisive. Lift your feet and then cross your left ankle over your right knee, and then pull your knee in and kick your legs forward. Pull your knees in and kick your legs forward. Pull your knees in and kick your legs forward. And then just watching on this one, lifting the legs. So it's actually my right arm here slides through, hook up the inside of the right knee with the right elbow, kick the legs, and then that's Astavakrasana 8-angle pose without the arm balance challenge. So it's just focusing on building some core strength here. Or you just have to roll all the way forward onto your mat. So it's just hands down and then kick forward. Lift the chin, look forward, high, high, and then come back down. And then switch. So it'll go right over left. Lift your hands up, pull the knees in and kick back. Knees in, kick back, just the hands lifted, a little more challenging. And then pause. This time, left arm goes through, twist. It requires an element of twisting. There's also another variation if it's ever tough on your wrists, and you can go onto your elbow instead. I actually love that version. So it just looks like this. One elbow down, other hand down, and then you just kick out that way. It's kind of a fun one. It's not as hard as some of the other arm balances. And then make your way out. Nice work. Whoop, whoop, thumbs up. And then lift your legs up in the air as you lie back. And then just crisscross your legs up and down. You can add side to side and up and down. Just keep switching things up like you're indecisive. Black mat, blue mat, which one's it gonna be? It reminds me of my favorite album growing up and still as an adult, Black and Blue. If you know the group with the album Black and Blue, let me know, type it. There might be a newer version with the one Boyd band. Okay, the next one I just got upright so I can at least look at you for this one. It's just going to be legs straight and then going out to the side and then up and then out to the side and up. And it's pretty intense. And I'm not going to go even half the distance that some of you have the capacity to go. So it's just like this. And then going legs over to the side with the legs together, trying to keep them straight. Whoo. And then come up and then over the other direction. Whoa. And then just tick-tocking back and forth. So I get probably 20% of the way to the floor. There's still a long way to go. And it's already intense. So hold. Next time your legs are over to the left, pause and hold, and then reach your arms to the right, and then even hook up your left elbow to the outside of your right thigh and push your legs straighter from there. Okay, and then back to center, and then over to the other side. Reach, reach, reach. An option to hook up your elbow, push your legs straighter. Okay, and then hold your thighs and rock yourself up. And then here, we're going to go into Ardha Matsyendrasana. I just like a block Gives me a bit more of an advantage to sit up on. Bend your right knee and slide your right foot to the outer left hip, and then cross your left foot over your right like that. And sit up tall, and then take a twist towards your left. Lift your chin. Option to go for some crazy bind or even just hold your knee. This is a prep position for eventually you can go into that Koundinyasana 1 where the legs go wide out to the side, and then this time option to go legs together. Yeah, Backstreet Boys, you got it, Kala. Yeah, what a great album. Now, so for the transition with the arm balances, just lean over to your left, hook up your thigh, and then lift your legs, spread them apart, and then go both legs out to the side. Whoa! And you might only have about 2 or 3 seconds of that one. That one actually was more elbow outside the IT band, causing a bit of a challenge for me. And then switch to the other side. So this time it's left foot goes to the outer right hip, and then right foot goes up and over top. And then hook your elbow or just wrap the elbow around your knee. Lift your chin. And then the option for the arm balance is to lean all the way over. Bring your hands down. Again, you could actually prop up both hip and knee. I don't know if it's actually doable with the legs straight, but I'll give it a try and see, because it's an option for some of you if you just don't quite have the balance or strength yet. So it's legs out and then both legs out to the side like that. Yeah, it's sort of doable. Definitely can hold it longer. You can also bring your head down too, using pillows. That can sometimes feel fantastic and great. Just going to give the body a little bit of a break. So we'll institute Hal Johnson and Joanne McPidgeon by sliding the right shin forward. It reminds me of my friend Tommy Pigeon and Debbie Triangle. Lower down onto your elbows. I love people who have like last names. You usually don't have first names, but last names with yoga poses. So there's certainly some Crows, Russell and Cheryl, Whitney Pishin. Option, of course, if you want to keep this one upright and a bit more active, you can reach back and grab hold of your foot. You can test your balance another way. Okay, and then switch to the other side. So left shin forward. If you're a big fan of bowspring, you can always bring your back knee right up to your front ankle and lower onto your elbows. Just modify, adjust accordingly. Either bow down onto your elbows or stay upright. And then option to lift your back foot, grab hold of your foot, puff up your chest. Okay, and then release your legs. Hey, Gabby. And then just move back to all fours. So it's a bit more of a level 2 practice here today. So extra challenge is the neat thing about arm balances is that you can switch between sides through headstand, but you can also just switch between different arm balances. So we're going to try for Eka Pada Koundinyasana 1, then Dwi Pada, both legs, and then Eka Pada 2, and then the crazy is then trying to get it back to Astavakrasana, back to Eka Pada Koundinyasana 2, and then go through a flow. So that's a lot. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to do it all the way. It can also be helpful to be up on blocks, especially for some of the transitions near the end, because it just gives a bit more space. So I'll show that with my, my blue blocks here. So you can always watch or just follow along and just do your best. So a different way of going into Eka Pada Koundinyasana 1 is to step from down dog your left foot to the outside of the right hand. And then from there, twist a little bit further in so you can hook the elbow. And then from there, lean forward and extend your legs in opposition. Then there's not much time, go both legs out to the side. And then option, oh, look out, harmonium. I should have moved my harmonium, is to lower down. Then it's to swing the legs up and through. Ooh. And then lower down into Astavakrasana. And then swing the leg back. And then go through a flow. Totally smooth, like I do it all the time without any issues at all. It's a little trickier in that initial transition on blocks, but bring the knee through and go to Astavakrasana. It requires just being up a bit higher. Yeah, pretty easy, hey? So simple as that, Mallory. Simple as that. We'll try it on the other side. So you might just stick to the first one and then attempt the transition. Try to show it a bit smoother. Actually, I'll go without blocks because probably won't be able to do the final part of that one. So it's down dog and then left foot forward and, oh wait, no, pardon me, right leg forward. I forgot. Reach the left arm, hook up the outside of the elbow, lean to the side, kick your legs wide, then both legs to the side, and then get low to make the transition to Koundinyasana. It's where I might not have the space yet. Don't quite have the space. Ooh. You might get rug burn on the floor. And then swing the leg back. And then move through a flow. So I still got lots of work on that one myself. Probably need to find a block that's just like a little bit lower as a practice point where I could get that second part through. And also the high block made it a bit trickier to do the first transition. Oh, that was nice. You got a nap in as well. That's fantastic. Okay, just regular seated position. Bring the bottoms of your feet together. Open your knees out to the side. I'm getting pretty tired now. I think that's about 9 or 10 arm balances that we've done. Hinge forward. You can hook up your shins with your elbows. If you still want more arm balances, then just go into crow from here. Say for the most part, we're winding things down now. And then rise up, extend your legs out wide-ish, and tilt forward. This is an arm balance in itself. I usually have Lori demonstrate because she does it a lot better than me. It's not one of my favorites, firefly pose, Bakasana. You can look that one up, Google that one. We haven't prepped for it as best as what I need, which is a lot of hamstring openers. And then turn over one leg, bow forward. Yeah, got my knee kind of between my hands. That's pretty great. Just every day, try it. Get a little bit better every day. Every day. Option to hold your foot, to go into a deeper twist, or the side bend version kind of looks like that, where you bring one elbow to the inside of the knee and then reach up and over. Okay, and then turn over your left leg. I used to be pretty ruthless and you had to do exactly what I said. And then I realized that nobody listens to me anyways. So now it's just nice to have choice and pick and choose. What adventure do you want to go on today in your yoga practice? Remember when we used to be able to travel? My apologies to some of my international friends. We, in British Columbia, so where my city Victoria is, we're not technically under a lockdown. We can actually just like go out for a walk and meet up with friends at a socially appropriate distance away from them and go for a walk. We don't have to only just get groceries or walk the dog. Okay, then come all the way up. Have both legs straight forward and then bow over your legs. I just use a block because it's a bit easier for me. But of course, you can always have the hips down and then bow over your legs that way. If you're pretty flexible, you can go wider with your legs, so your head go between your legs, or put a block to the bottom of your feet just to make the legs longer to bow in further. Oh, nice. Andy went for Firefly. Way to go. Yeah, do whatever you want. As long as it's a socially appropriate distance away from other people. I don't think I'm ever going to shake anyone's hand ever again. I'm just going to look at someone in the eyes and just nod my head. Okay, then rise up and then just position yourself so you can lie onto your back. Hug your knees in. And then lift one leg up in the air. If you want to go legs straight, go for it. Or you can take the foot up and over, hold on to your foot. And then switch sides. Not a lot of back bends, so if you're just dying for one, you're welcome to lift up for bridge or one wheel. That's all you get. We're running out of time. So set yourself up, bridge or wheel, lift. And then slowly lower. Move your hips a little to the right, drop your knees over to the left for a reclined twist. This is very similar to an arm balance. You could always hook your left elbow to the outside of your right thigh and do mime in a box, hands up. And then it looks like side crow. And then switch, move your hips over to the left and drop your legs over to the right. I think maturity in your practice is when you start to recognize that every pose is another pose that you're going to do later on in practice. So the poses keep repeating themselves, and if you do the basic ones really, really well and fierce and strong, then the more challenging positions become more attainable and accessible. Option again to hook the elbow, go into the side crow, and then into happy baby pose. Grab hold of your feet or the backs of your thighs, extend your legs up. And then your choice for this last is you can go legs up the wall to finish, or you could just lie on your back. You could stay in a meditation position instead for the last few minutes of practice. And I'll just guide you through some breathing just to help relax and slow the body down after, I think, a pretty vigorous and challenging practice. If lying on your side is easier, do so, or even onto your belly. Again, let go of how things are supposed to be or how someone has always told you to do it, and instead take more ownership of your practice. Okay, once you've found a comfortable position, just take a deep breath in and then a deep breath out. You're going to add some pauses at the top and bottom of your exhale. So inhale, breathe in and pause at the top, and then exhale and breathe out slowly, fluidly, and pause. Again, inhale and breathe in. Pause at the top, so there's retention, stillness, and exhale, slowly breathe out. Pause in the quiet. And again, inhale. And pause. And then exhale. And pause. And do a few more cycles on your own. You can even count out to make the breath even on both sides. Or just revert to your natural breath rate. And the breath can be the gateway to the mind. So by finding that slight space between your inhale and your exhale, can also reflect the slight space between consecutive thoughts in your mind. And to meditate is not to stop your mind from thinking, but just to enhance the space between consecutive thoughts, to consciously and skillfully go longer and longer. And one of the tricks with the Hatha yoga practice, Hatha just being yoga postures, is that we use the physical form and shape of the body to train the mind to stay focused. Slowly begin to move the body, wiggling the fingers and the toes, nodding your head from side to side. And then roll off to one side and push your way up to a tall seated position. And then join your hands together in front of you. And take a deep breath in. Open your mouth, exhale it out. And one more, even more dramatic, Oscar-winning sigh. Inhale. Namaste. Okay, happy Sunday, everyone. Miss you all.